Good evening, I'm Pinky Webb. Tonight we ask the questions, we tackle the issues, we clarify matters, and we get on point. The Independent Commission for Infrastructure is set to subpoena more individuals in its probe into the flood control scandal, among them Senator Mark Villar, former House Speaker Martin Romualdez, and former Congressman Zaldy Co. As the investigation intensifies, will the Commission's hearings be made public? Let's get on point with ICI Executive Director, Attorney Brian Keith Hosaka. Attorney Hosaka, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for your time.
Good evening, Pinky. Good evening to all your viewers. Thank you for having me here.
Very welcome, sir. So I wanted to start with that the ICI has invited some other politicians to its hearing. One of them, of course, is former House Speaker Martin Romualdez. When is he expected to appear?
The formal invitation will have to be sent by the Commission, but definitely he will be invited to the Commission to shed light with regard to the flood control projects.
So he hasn't been formally invited?
Not yet. We're sending the invitation soon.
All right. So maybe by the weekend or next week?
Probably next week, we'll be sending the invitation to the former speaker.
Okay. And then what about former Congressman Zaldy Co?
Yes, the same. We'll be sending the formal invite to Congressman Zaldy Co.
How will you send the invitation to former Congressman Zaldy Co?
We'll probably send it to his office, and the same is true to the speaker.
But he already resigned.
Probably will probably find a way or email it to his staff.
Mm-hmm. So both gentlemen have not been formally invited, because that was the news that we shared this week, that former Speaker Martin Romualdez and former Congressman Zaldy Co will be invited. So if they're going to be invited next week, number one is that when do you expect them to actually show up?
Well, probably in the invitation will indicate there the particular day and time that we will be inviting them to appear before the Commission.
Is this confidential, attorney?
The date?
Yes.
No, we will inform the public when. In fact, that's what we did when we invited Senator Villar. We informed the media that we will be inviting him next week on Wednesday at 9 a.m.
I see. So mauuna kasi si Senator Mark Villar before former Speaker Martin Romualdez and former Congressman Zaldy Co. Before I go to Senator Mark Villar, I wanted to ask you, are you going to ask for help with authorities regarding the location of Zaldy Co? Because, as mentioned a while ago, he already resigned. So where exactly do you intend to send the invitation, whether it be email or otherwise, if he does not hold office already at the House of Representatives?
Yes, exactly. That would be a challenge, but we'll be coordinating with probably the other government agencies to be able to locate him so that we'll be able to send the invitation.
Attorney, what if you don't know, or we don't know where he is exactly? What happens?
Then we will just have to wait until we are ascertain where he can be sent the invitation.
I see. So pending the fact that, or the possibility rather, that you don't know where he is, there is not going to be a second step with regards to after a subpoena and he doesn't show up. What do you intend to do thereafter?
Because the first thing, Pinky, would be for us to be able to send the invitation first. That's the first matter that we'd have to address. And then we'll probably find ways and means to be able to send the invitation and probably invite him. But I mean, we all know for a fact that he's not in the country right now. So that's
right.
going to be a challenge, really.
Yeah.
So regardless of that, we'll be sending the invitation because we want to know his, in a way, his involvement with regard to these flood control projects.
But what happens after an invitation is sent and that particular individual does not show up?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, then we will have to ask the other government agencies for them to assist us in serving this invitation.
So it's still going to be called an invitation?
Yes.
Hindi po subpoena.
No. Actually, under the EO 94, the technical term and the legal term there is a subpoena.
I see.
So it's actually almost the same in the sense that whenever you subpoena someone, you ask someone to appear, regardless of who that person is. So,
So the invitation is a subpoena.
yes, in a way,
Okay.
yes.
And then, so let me go back to my question. If that person doesn't show up, do you have, does the ICI have the power to issue a show cause order and then maybe an arrest warrant?
No, that's not one of that. Unfortunately, we don't have the power to do that, to order the arrest of any individual. What we can do is probably cite someone for contempt for the refusal of the for their refusal to appear before the commission.
Yeah, but after the contempt, no, attorney, there's nothing else you can do.
No,
Yeah.
unfortunately, we don't.
Yeah, unlike in Senate hearings or House hearings, you can be cited in contempt, and in fact, you can actually also even be, they can order you to stay in the House of Representatives or the Senate if they find that, somebody motions to do that. So wala pong kapangyarihan ng ICI to do this. Here's the question, sir. Former Congressman Zaldy Co is said to be knowledgeable, or the one who possibly knows what really happened in the 2025 budget regarding insertions. So you already, the ICI rather, has already called on Senator Grace Poe, who was the head of the Senate contingent. Pareho po silang level ni Congressman Zaldy Co doon po sa House version. What I want to find out is, number one, was Senator Grace Poe able to shed light on these supposed insertions in the 2025 budget, knowing that she already appeared before the ICI?
I believe she shared her knowledge about what happened during the deliberations of the budget proceedings. However, we cannot divulge that yet because that is part of our investigation. We have that current policy with regard to the information shared to us by our resource persons.
Understandably. Would you say that the ICI was satisfactory? It was a satisfactorily response from Senator Grace Poe. They were satisfied rather with what she had shared to the commission.
But as far as satisfaction is concerned, probably it is something that any information that the commission would receive from our resource persons would always be valuable. But then again, as I mentioned in my previous interviews, is that we would have to make sure that to validate this, no, not just to rely on any statement. So we will have to cross check, meaning we want to know the truth. And probably if it is mentioned by other resource persons, then in a way, that would be valuable information indeed, because it is backed up by other statements from the other witnesses, or not witnesses, but resource persons.
Because the other persons, at least available during the bicameral conference committee, were Congressman Zaldy Co, Senator Grace Poe, Speaker Martin Romualdez also, and former Speaker Martin Romualdez and former Senate President Francis Chis Escudero. Okay, let's go back to Senator Grace Poe. I understand that it's limited what you can divulge and what you can tell us. Pero nagpakita na rin po si former Senate President Chis Escudero. Again, with the two senators already showing up and presenting themselves before the ICI. At least what can you tell us about what was told before the commission?
Unfortunately, Pinky, I cannot divulge right now. I'll have to check on the records again, because at the time that the two of them appeared before the commission, I was not yet executive director at the time, so I was not present during the hearing.
How important is it, though, because you have the Senate contingent already showing up before the ICI, and then now you need to have the House contingent, di ba? And that would be former Speaker Martin Romualdez and former Congressman Zaldy Co. would the presence, would the presentation, would the questions to former Speaker Martin Romualdez somehow maybe piece the puzzle?
Yes, in a way, as I mentioned earlier, Pinky, is that we're trying to get the sides or information from everyone. So you're right. It's a puzzle that would have to be um, completed. So that's what we're doing right now. We're trying to get information from different resource persons so that we get the truth. We get to the bottom of everything, meaning that we are able to cross check and verify the statements of our resource persons to finally get to the truth
Yeah.
of what really happened.
And there would be at least 4 of them who could help shed light. Because really the focus would be the 2025 budget, at least what is deemed to be talked about as one of the most corrupt budget that we've had so far. At least that's what it's being described. Quick question, a follow-up there, Attorney. In the event that you do not get, or the commission does not get enough or clear answers from the individuals involved or part of the BICAM, does the commission already have in its possession documents that look into, or have they examined the 2025 budget?
Well, right now, to tell you frankly, we have so many documents and documents at hand. So it will really take time for us to scour through all these documents and evidence presented to us. We are careful in reviewing each and every of those, no, because we want to make sure that what we're looking for. I mean, we want to make sure that everything's checked, everything's verified before we come up with a conclusion with regard to what really happened.
Okay.
The commission is really information gathering. We want to get to the facts. So that's basically the goal of the commission.
Okay. So let's talk about Senator Mark Villar, who you mentioned a while ago. So he's set to appear this coming Wednesday.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. And what is the reason for the invitation of Senator Mark Villar? Is it because he was the former DPWH secretary during the Duterte administration, or is it because of these what appears to be alleged conflict of interest when he was DPWH secretary, or even, I believe, when he was senator, being connected to some of the projects that may have some relation to any of his family or relatives?
Well, I guess the basis or the mandate really of the commission is to investigate the planning, the funding, and the implementation of these flood projects. And being the former DPWH secretary, he would be knowledgeable about these things.
Mhm.
So it was imperative for us, for the ICI, to invite the senator and to shed light on what he knows about the projects in which we are trying to investigate.
Attorney, you were with Justice Reyes when you went to the Office of the Ombudsman, if I'm not mistaken, to recommend the filing of charges to the following: Zaldy Co and some other DPWH officials regarding, this is just so far regarding the flood control projects in Nauhan, Oriental Mindoro, amounting to 290 million pesos. Attorney, this is the first, no, that was filed before the Office of the Ombudsman?
Yes, that's true, Pinky. That's the very first recommendation and report filed by the Commission to the Office of the Ombudsman.
Bakit ho itong nauna?
Because, as I said, these were this particular project was in a way we had enough basis to show that that there's a possibility that a crime has been committed, and at the same time for the ombudsman to take another look or to delve deeper in this matter and to file the appropriate charges against those who may be responsible.
So, Attorney, this particular recommendation, the responsibility of the ICI ends, at least with regards to this recommendation in Nauhan, Oriental Mindoro.
In our recommendation, we mentioned that we reserve our right to submit any additional
Okay.
evidence or documents which we may obtain in the course of our investigation and submit it to Ombudsman for them to evaluate this evidence
And when
include it in their complaint.
and when do you intend to go back or at least recommend again the filing of cases against certain individuals, sir?
Well, as soon as we complete our case or our recommendation, after verifying all the evidence, documents that we have gathered, then we will file our report and recommendation to the Ombudsman, regardless of who may be involved in these projects.
Quick question, sir, before you go. I'm sure marami pong nagtatanong na kung kailan ang susunod na pagrekomenda of filing of cases against politicians.
That I cannot say, but we're working on it. It's a very tedious process, Pinky. We want to make sure that everything's in order. We don't want cases to be dismissed left and right, no, because if we do that, we would have failed. So as much as possible, we scour through the records, we review all our records, we make sure that they're validated and verified before coming up with our recommendation and our report to the Ombudsman, so that in a way the Ombudsman will have, in a way, a complete lead for their investigation and eventually filing of a complaint against those who may be responsible, as indicated in our recommendation.
Almost like an airtight case. ICI Executive Director, Attorney Brian Keith Hosaka, thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you very much, Pinky.